If your stock brakes just aren't cutting it anymore and you're looking for an easy and affordable upgrade to the brakes on your 19 and newer Silverado or Sierra 1500, then the PowerStop Z23 Evolution Rotor and Pad Kit is for you. Featuring PowerStop's excellent proprietary brake pad compound with drilled and slotted rotors, this kit is going to give you everything you need to stop on a dime every time, whether you're putting them on a work truck, daily driver, hauler, or an off-roader. And that makes this a full front and rear brake rotor and pad kit that gives you everything you need to upgrade your Silverado's stopping power. Now, the biggest difference versus stock here are the drilled and slotted rotors. Especially if you're towing or hauling with your truck, these are going to be a welcome upgrade to the standard solid rotors. The holes and slots in the faces here are going to help channel that heat away from the face of the rotor and from the pads. Keeping brakes cool is the key to having them perform properly. The slots direct heat out and the drilled holes give them another means of escape as they lead right to the central vanes. So despite these being the exact same size as your factory rotors, they're going to perform much better, especially when you're working them hard. Now that is of course helped by the pads. The Z23 Evolution pads are a noticeable step up in performance from your originals, but these don't compromise. PowerStop utilizes a proprietary carbon fiber ceramic compound with these, so that gives them excellent initial bite, stopping power, and much better heat resistance versus your stock ones. The pads are thermal scorched during manufacturing to help with a faster break-in, and there are centralized slots and rubber shims on the back to help keep noise at bay. So these bite hard and they bite fast, and they're going to stand up to multiple full bore stops in a row without fail. PowerStop also claims that these produce virtually no dust. Now, no brake pad is entirely dust free, but this formula produces very little, which is going to help keep your wheels clean. Like I said, there's virtually no compromise with this kit. For what it's worth too, I run a very similar kit on my own truck and have for a few years now. Even loaded up with a heavy car trailer, the PowerStops have been everything that they claim and more. Enough that I've put them on other vehicles too, and I've yet to be anything but seriously happy with the performance. This kit again is going to be a full front and rear rotor and pad kit, and it also includes new brake wear sensors for you too, so you've got everything you need to do a full brake job and get back on the road pretty easily. The rotors are made from cast iron, similar to your stock brakes, but there's a couple key differences. They're made using something called G3000 metallurgy, so this has a higher percentage of carbon in the metal itself. Like the vanes and the holes that are drilled in here, this composition is extremely helpful in dissipating heat. As you can see too, the rotors also have a silver zinc plating, and that's going to help prevent rust and corrosion, so they're going to look good and perform well for a long time. Those pads again utilize PowerStop's proprietary carbon fiber ceramic compound. You're going to get excellent heat dissipation, that consistent performance and feel, and low dust we were talking about, and not much noise. PowerStop also includes all new premium stainless steel hardware, high temp brake lubricant, and again, your brake pad wear sensors in this kit. So short of brake lines and calipers, this is going to give you everything you need for a full brake overhaul. It's all really high quality stuff too. About the only compromise you have to make, in fact, is, well, paying for it. Coming in at around $625, this kit is not exactly what you call a drop in the bucket. However, as I always say, good brakes rarely come cheap, and this is not a place you want to skimp if your truck sees a lot of usage, especially if you're doing things like towing or hauling with it. This is about the most affordable kit that includes drilled and slotted rotors, and it's really not all that much more than an OE replacement setup. So in my book, it's worth spending the extra on good brakes, especially again if you're using your truck a lot. So if you can find the room in the budget, I highly recommend picking up a set of these. Installation comes in at a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and installing this kit is definitely a job that you can accomplish at home. Expect it to take you around 3 hours or so, and even if you've never done brakes before, this is not a really difficult job. It just requires some time and patience. We're also going to walk you through the entire installation process right now, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
First install, you need a 1/2 inch and 3/8 ratchet, an 18 and T30 socket, caliper hanging tool, 14mm wrench, flathead screwdriver, needle nose pliers, brake clean in a rag, and a front and rear caliper tool. All right, today we're gonna be installing some brakes on our Silverado. First we'll watch a quick video to uninstall stock ones, and then we'll come back here to install the new ones. Now before you get working, you just wanna make sure before working on the rear brakes, you wanna put your parking brake into service mode. So once you do that, we'll watch this video and then we'll come back here.
Now we can remove the 2 caliper mounting bracket bolts from behind the caliper using our 18mm socket and a breaker bar. Now, once you've got them broken loose, then you can switch it out for your 1/2 inch ratchet and go ahead and finish taking them out. Now we can go ahead and lift our caliper off the rotor, making sure, of course, that we support it on some sort of a hanging device to take the stress off of the hose so that they don't break. Now we can remove this retaining bolt here using our T30 Torx bit and remove the rotor. Now we can go ahead and remove our pads from the caliper. To start, we'll need a small flathead screwdriver to remove the spring clips that hold the pins in place. To do this, you just pry on the clip to release the tension and just slip it out. Now you can remove the retaining pins simply by pushing on the back side. Then you can use a pair of needle nose pliers to go ahead and pull those out. And the anti-rattle clip should come along with it. Now you can go ahead and pull the pads out. And disconnect the wear sensor from the inner pad, simply by pulling it out. First thing we're going to do is disconnect our wear sensor connector right here on our brake pad. And to do that, we're going to use a pair of needle nose pliers. And we're going to grab a hold of this, pop it out, and then remove the dust cap from our bleeder screw here so that we can get our whole wire out of the way. So we'll grab our sensor here with our needle nose. You don't have to grab it too hard, and just pop it right out. And once we've got that disconnected, we'll go ahead and remove this dust cap, and then the whole thing will just flip right out of the way. Put that back on just to make sure it doesn't get lost. Next thing we'll do is remove these two bolts, one at the top and one at the bottom for our caliper. And we'll do that using our 14mm socket. Now with those two bolts removed, we can just slide our caliper straight out. Now with the caliper out of the way, we'll go ahead and slide our pads out. Now we'll go ahead and remove our caliper mounting bracket using our 18mm socket. So we've got two 18mm bolts, one here at the top, and then another one down here at the bottom. So we'll use our breaker bar and an 18mm socket to get that started loose. Do the same thing for the one at the bottom. And then once you've got them started to become loose, we'll switch over to our 1/2-inch ratchet. Now we'll go ahead and get the top one. And then just slide the caliper mounting bracket out. Next thing we need to do is remove this retaining bolt here using a T30 Torx bit. And you may want to use a long screwdriver or an extension to hold it still while you break this loose. And once you've got that removed, you should just be able to grab a hold of the rotor and slide it right off. Now this particular kit does come with a replacement wear sensor here, so we're going to go ahead and show you how to take that off. And we're going to disconnect it right here at the top of this bracket. What you're going to do is reach back and pull on the gray locking tab, pull it out till it releases, and then push it down to actually release the connector. Now here's your gray locking tab. So once you've got that slid towards the front of the vehicle, then you're just going to push down on it towards the outside of the vehicle, grab a hold of your connector, and pull it right out.
All right, so for the front, once again, make sure you have the right rotor. And we're gonna do the same thing and clean it off, some brake clean and a rag. I'm gonna clean the front, then the back side. We can go ahead and get this on our truck. Just make sure we line up our bolt hole. We can go ahead and thread it in our T30 screw. So we'll grab our T30 socket and just screw that in by hand, and then we'll grab our ratchet and tighten that down. All right, so here's where we're gonna actually spread out our pistons and our caliper. Now I like to use an old pad. I just have a new one here just for demonstration, because ours are already maxed out, because our pads are pretty much brand new. But you're gonna put a pad in there, grab one of these tools to spread all 4 pistons at the same time. That would fit in, it's gonna fit in here like so, and then you're just gonna crank it, and it's gonna push out all 4 pistons at the same time. It's nice and easy. Remove that, remove your old pad, and we can go ahead and take those off and get our caliper put over our new rotor. So as you can see, I have our caliper on. I have one of our 18mm bolts already threaded in. We'll get our second one in. We'll go ahead and grab our ratchet and tighten these 2 down. All right, while we're here, we're gonna get our grease and our new pads. We're gonna grease up the edges of where it's gonna slide on our caliper here. Look at this one. Make sure you have the space where the sensor will go in. We'll put the sensor in after. It's just a lot easier than fishing that wire through. Go ahead and do the same thing for the other pad. Slide that in. And we can go ahead and get our new sensor. Now it's gonna be a little difficult just because it's kind of hard to see, but you actually want to plug it in from the inside here, just like so, and then we can plug it in to our harness. So we have our new brackets for our pads. We just want to make sure this ledge here is facing down. We're just gonna get our pins started into our front pad first. Get them through those slots. Get our pads in place and send our pins through the other side, and then through the back of the caliper. If you need to, grab your flathead just to help guide everything through. And then on the inside, you just want to line up the holes and put your safety clip in. And once you have this all secured, you can go to repeat all the same steps for the front and the rear on the other side of the truck. We're gonna start off in our rear by cleaning off our rotor. You just wanna make sure that you have the right one. There will be a sticker labeling this is the rear driver's side. So we're gonna grab some brake clean and a rag and just clean off the surface of any oil or debris. So we're gonna do it on the front side and the back side. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get our rotor onto our truck. Just make sure you line up the slot for the screw. Then we can go ahead and thread that in. So we'll grab our ratchet and T30 socket. We'll screw this in. And go ahead and tighten that down. So now before we can get our caliper bracket on, we just need to replace our clips. So you can just pull them off like so, or if you need to, grab your flathead screwdriver, get underneath them and pop them off. We'll grab 2 of our new ones, and they simply just pop over. You're gonna have the extended part facing the outside. Flip them over, do the same thing. All right, so now before we get our bracket on, we just need to push in our piston on our caliper. Now our pads are pretty much brand new that came off. So for demonstration purposes, we're just gonna show you what tool you're gonna use. it would be this one that has the pins on it that lock into the caliper to spin it in. So it would sit in like so, you would lock it down, and then go ahead and crank this in and spin it in. Now ours is already maxed out and spun in. Just gonna take our tool off and let that rest, and then go ahead and get our bracket on. So our bracket's gonna go over our rotor like so, and reinstall our two 18mm bolts. Our first one threaded in, and we just have to move our caliper out of the way, get the bottom one. And we just need to grab our ratchet with our 18mm socket, and go ahead and tighten those two down. So now we're gonna get our pads into place. We're gonna grab some of our supplied brakes grease and put this on the end of our pads where they're gonna fit into our clips. You wanna make sure that you have the one that the sensor is gonna plug into in the rear here on the inside. Just get that in place. You go ahead and do the same thing with the outside pad. Now, these clips are brand new, so I just need to stretch a little bit to get them on. Once you get them on, go ahead and get our caliper back in place. Slide that over our new pads. All right, and once our caliper's in place, we can reinstall our two 14mm bolts. Go ahead and grab our 14mm ratcheting wrench and tighten them down. Last thing we need to do is just install our new wear sensor. So we're just gonna plug that into our pad. You can reach that just like so. Take our bleeder cap off and put this mount on. And then just make sure you plug it in to the connector further forward.
And that wraps up our install of our PowerStop Z23 Evolution Sport 6-lug brake rotor and pad kit for the front and rear of our 2019 and newer Silverado 1500. And remember, for everything Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.